Hey, sixth grade. So I wanted to walk you through your first set of sources for history, given that it's been a long time since you've had to do readings like this and to try to do this type of information. So once you get the hang of how this looks, as we move forward with more history lessons, you should be set up for success because each of these, or each lesson, each day is going to look very similar to the one you're seeing now. So at the top, I give you the CHQ again. Hopefully this shouldn't be completely new to you, that you saw it in the slideshow and already did the attack day prompt. But once again, at the top, so as a refresher, what are the origins of the Aztec Empire? Now, as we look forward, we can see it gives us a source, it gives us some questions to go with that source, and then it asks for the central idea. We're going to go back and look at what that exactly is when I walk you through the first source. We're going to do a lot of the first source together. As you can see, source B, which is a picture, same idea, more questions and central idea. And then lastly, source C, and I keep going a little further down than I thought, more questions and then central idea. I put it slightly different so that I could save space, with the last page being your exit ticket. Now, your exit ticket looks a little bit different than how you'd received them before. I'm looking for you to answer this question using this exact rubric to guide you. Okay, so answer it. I'm not looking for maybe a full paragraph quite yet. Give me a few sentences that tie in the sources. We'll talk about that in a bit. As we look back to source A, if we remember back in class, there were some things that I want you to do when I give you a piece of information. Number one is to look at the sourcing information. So, as we can see, the Aztecs' early history and migration myths, secondary source. Hopefully, some of you remember this word. We haven't talked about it in a while, obviously. But secondary means it's not from the time period. So this is somebody probably more recent or like closer to today, looking at the information about the Aztecs and giving it in hopefully what is an unbiased form. And then it gives us a little more info. So after the fall of the Toltec Empire in 1150, the Aztec migrated and settled in the Valley of Mexico. This is how the Aztecs came to be called the Mexica. This place was fertile, able to grow crops, and already inhabited by people. The following Aztec origin story incorporates both fact and legend. So this is going to be a mix of true things and like stories, fables, myths. It goes into the reading. Before you do the reading, please look at these questions. Because when you look at the questions, suddenly what looked like this big reading about a whole bunch of stuff that you don't recognize turns into small chunks that you can focus on and just find that info for. So, how did the Aztec come to define the Valley of Mexico? How did they support themselves? Why were they moving around so much? And how did the Aztec gods show the people where they were meant to build the city? So if we look for our first one, how did they come to the Valley of Mexico? We'll start reading. The Aztec worshipped a special deity named, and I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not even going to try, or maybe I will, Huitzilopochtli. Bad, but I tried. According to legend, the Aztec made an enemy of the emperor, or of the god Copil. Out of anger with the Aztecs, Copil caused trouble for the people, but eventually he was killed. His heart was cast into Lake Texcoco at the order of the Aztec god. He led them into the Valley of Mexico. There they were ruled by many other tribes, but they made their overlords uneasy. So we have our first answer here. Hopefully you caught it. How did they go to the Valley of Mexico? Boom. We can see it right there. Their god led them there. Perfect. So as we go forward, looking on, right, we can see how they supported themselves. Might be in this little spot. I want to go to the central idea before we move forward. So as a refresher, the central idea should be in your own words kind of summary of the source. What does it say? It's not looking for anything like huge, not any kind of like big connections quite yet. The whole point of the central idea is if you can tell me the exact or a summary of what the document says, then you should be able to take that summary and then tie it back to the CHQ. Okay. Absolutely reach out if you have questions. I know this was a lot of info and not a lot of time, but you got this. Once again, reach out via Google Classroom if you need a little help. I'm always happy to help you out. Good luck.